Hey everybody, this is Justin with zzZounds, and I am here with a very special guest. We have Fadi from SSL. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you. It's lovely to be here.
For sure. Thanks for coming out. I know you have a sweet new piece that we're going to show off here. It's the SSL Revival 4000, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and this is kind of
a really exciting product that we're just about to roll out, yeah.
For sure. So tell us a little bit about it. So what is this for anybody out there that might not be familiar with it?
Well, it's a collection, really, of various elements of the 4000 series. And so it isn't really trying to be any one version of an SSL. What it is trying to be is to take some of the really cool things that we've developed over the years and put them together in a smarter way so that they'll be a lot more useful to people, be able to move elements around and rewire the whole thing however you need it to.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit about this before we started this interview, and yeah, I noticed that you mentioned that there's a lot of routing capabilities where you can, bring things in and out or change orders of the signal.
Yeah, there's the whole idea of this is there's a joke that I usually tell. An SSL is like a really, really great English butler. If you ask it for something, it'll always say, "Yes, sir, we can do that." And it's exactly the same way with this product, in that, different elements, different segments of it can be rerouted, including external insert points. So if you have something coming into it from the outside world, it'll give you options to move that around, just like a channel strip would on a console, an SSL console.
Yeah, that's so handy though.
Yeah.
Especially in a hardware piece like this.
Yeah,
so,
it makes an awful lot of difference when it comes to your reliance on this becomes greater than just a mic pre, greater than just an equalizer, greater than just a mix bus processor.
Yeah.
It becomes a lot of things for you. It's just a matter of how you use it that day.
Yeah, that's the part about it that's so intriguing to me, is that you don't have to use the full functionality. I can just pop in an EQ on there or use the compression on it. And
that's right.
Yeah, that's so fun. I think that's
exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of just like a Swiss Army knife tool you'd have there. So
yeah.
What was the inspiration for it? I know you guys wanted to probably nail the early 4000 sound, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the 4000 is kind of exemplifies an era of music. I mean, it was 1976 when we first released the A series, of which there were only a small handful of, and followed by the B series, which probably, one that's probably most remembered is this one here. This is the one from the Stone Room in London Townhouse Studios. This is the one everybody knows because Hugh Padgham and Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins recorded Intruder and In the Air Tonight with that really gigantic drum sound.
Yep.
And it's a fantastic story because it was one of those features that this product had that was inadvertently realized it's a musical feature, or it was really just a communication feature.
Yes.
All it was a microphone preamp that you hang in the studio, and that preamp has a circuit on it called the listen mic compressor, and it's a compressor that's meant to really isolate the vocal region of the sound and compress it so that it's as even as possible when it's coming through the mic. So the overall effect is really more about if you're the bass player in the studio and you just happen to be in the corner over there away from the bass amp, which is in another room, nobody can hear you talking unless you turn on this talk back mic.
Yeah.
So in this particular case, they were rehearsing and they heard Phil Collins in the drum room of Townhouse. In this particular drum room, the reason why it's called the Stone Room was because it had all these stones behind it, and it's incredibly live.
Yeah.
But really live in a very short reverb way. And then they heard it through this compressor, and they were like, "We got to record that."
Yeah. And that's the sound we all know,
And
so.
So in 1979, was born the drum sound of the 80s from this particular little accident.
Yeah, it's hard to understate how important that console was, the 4000, and that is just there were so many like developments that you guys did with that to kind of like bring everything into the like computer age too, as well. So it's just such a legendary piece.
Yeah.
So it's so cool you guys are doing this.
Yeah. So this borrows from. I mean, you have console like the A series, the B series in the '70s, and then the E series, which pretty much dominated that series for a long time, and then became the G and the G plus. But what was always evident was there was always development going on. So there were different EQs, there were different compressors. There was lots of EQs actually. You know, there's the orange EQ, the purple EQ, the brown knob, the black. And what you would see a lot of times is you would see consoles having all of these combinations on them, various combinations, because that's how the customer wanted it. They wanted a few orange Pultec style EQs here, and they wanted the black 611 here, and they wanted the original Brown series there. So you would see a whole bunch of bits of these little things, and some of them had transformers on their microphone pre's, others didn't. So what we did here was we went back and looked at what was really cool, that what stood out. And more importantly, was tested by time. And most people really loved the musical element to it. So those are the things that ultimately survived that long history. And that's what we did here. So when you walk down the street of this product, you start with the microphone pre, of course. This is a mic pre, and there's also a line circuit as well that's separate from the mic pre.
Cool. Okay.
So you can work with line effects if you want to insert it from your DAW, for example.
Yeah, that's handy.
Yeah. So all of the effects can be utilized that way. But if you go through the mic pre has a transformer on it, which is why we put a trim on here. Because the trick of this is pushing the mic pre, hitting the transformer as hard or back off, as much as you want, and then trim it back so that you would get this really lovely, crack on a snare drum, for example.
Add some iron in, So.
Yes, exactly. Add some iron into it. And it's variable, so of course, how you vary it depends on how much you push the microphone. You're able to, engage that, disengage it. If you want to, I've even used it on line signal. Because the unit is remarkably, it's got a lot of headroom in it. So when I've used it by basically taking a line level signal, feeding it into the mic pre,
just lowering it,
and then just padding it down 20 dB and lowering it, you don't get as much control as you'd like, but you can use the transformer that way. And it's a really clever little way of utilizing it in post-production.
You still get a little bit of grit on it then, and
or
some color. Or a lot.
Or a lot of grit.
Like, who needs the pad? Let's just go full blown out.
You could even pad it before, I suppose, but the 20 dB does enough padding that you've got a good range to work with.
That's handy then. That is pretty functional. And what about the next stage of it? I see we got a de-esser and a compressor.
There's a great story about this particular circuit. In the original B, most people don't know, that's actually where the bus compressor was born. It was born on the channel compressor of the B series console. So that same 4:1 ratio, that really aggressive compressor that was there was really born there.
Like
as
late
a channel
70s?
compressor. In '79. Basically. And one of the unique features of the B was that you can actually set it to be a de-esser. So it takes the compressor and puts in a focus filter at 7 kilohertz and uses that as the trigger point for the compressor.
Gotcha.
So it becomes a dynamic compressor, basically.
That's fun.
So same thing you would do if you sidechain, a filter.
For sure.
But what we wanted to do is we wanted to actually not lose the compressor in order to do that. So what we did is we set that circuit separately. So that is right here. You can turn it on and turn it off. And it's really, we did a number of sessions with this already, and it's one of those secret weapons where if you're trying to take some of the harsh edge off of drums or
like cymbals,
so that, they start to really become very sibilant and just almost like a painful sine wave to it. So you could really go in and target that out and be able to control it dynamically So it's not evident in the content because it's moving with the dynamics of the playback.
See, once again, it's another cool little tool to separate the de-esser by itself. That's awesome.
Yeah,
so.
and that is really a secret weapon to this product. And I've really was quite enamored with it after using it. And I was like, yeah, this is a great idea.
It's handy, right? I know so many engineers that never use a de-esser on vocal stuff. It's just for cymbals and things like that, just because they're so handy. Just like gets it right in that spot you want.
Yeah, and it's got this softness to it.
Yeah.
So it's not very aggressive, and it's kind of unique in that way. I mean, it is a de-esser by definition, but it's got an interesting quality to it. Yeah. And when you throw it into other things other than vocals, that's when you realize, oh, okay, this is great on this snare drum, or it's great on the bottom snares that I have. I might just want to taper off some of that. Yeah. Lots of things that I've noticed that it really makes a big difference when you just tip it in just slightly. Yeah. Even it just amazing stuff with it.
Yeah, just kind of shaving stuff off a little bit. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So you mentioned the compressor. Then that's kind of the next stage here. So
that takes us to the compressor. So this is the classic compressor where you've got the section over here, which is your expander, and over here you've got your compressor. So you've got your 3 stages: your ratio, threshold, and release. You have something different here. This is a linear release. This is, again, one of those variations that came from the E series, where you would actually have a slightly different release time. Okay. So if you want a more linear release versus a logarithmic release, it would react when you press that on. You would turn that on. There was also a soft knee, or a hard knee, soft knee equivalent, slope. So that can do a gentler slope. Yeah. So if you wanted that, you can turn that on. And again, these are different eras of console compressors. Yeah. They never really kind of came out all at once, but we put them all together so that you'd have these various options. Yeah. And the fast attack became really famous, especially in the G series, where people loved them on drums. They attack those drum sounds and really pack them in nicely and control them without losing the punch that they had. Yes. And that's the classic fast attack right there. Cool. Is on here, and and you can use it. You can use the expander. There's an expansion button over here, which changes how it opens and closes. So it's not really a gate anymore. If you want to use it as a hard gate, you would turn this off. It becomes a regular gate, or you can use it as a expander, so it softens the reaction time. Okay. And it opens and closes, so it's more like just a softer expander. Yeah, and as you go down the list over here, you've got the 2 high and low pass filters. These filters have been enigmatic. Most people don't use them, but the ones who know how to use them incredibly well, especially to isolate guitars from stepping into ranges where they're stepping on other instruments. And to be able to do that with separate instruments and be able to kind of control where they live without having to do that in post-production and all the myriad of phase problems that sometimes would come along with that.
Yeah, get it in the right spot on the way in, rather.
Exactly. Yeah. You get it in the right spot on the way in. Yeah. And everything seems more bigger on the way out. And the reason why is you made the right decisions with the filters.
Yeah, you're carving out the frequency ranges there.
Yeah, exactly. You can actually, like I said earlier, move things around. So, for example, this filter could go input stage. So if you want the filter to isolate frequencies before the compressor reacts to it. Yeah. You can change the list of the signal path. Yeah. So right now, without this button, the filter is post compression. Yeah. With this button on, it's pre compression, and all the elements that go along with that.
Yeah, that's another super handy tool because if you're for instance, guitars or bass, and you're lopping off some low end, it'll definitely hit a compressor a lot differently. So
that's right, exactly. So you can change the characteristic of it completely.
Love it.
And that's something else that you can do with the EQ. The EQ can be pre-dynamic, So you can put that EQ before the dynamic. A lot of people in rock and roll love that idea. They love, like the Dan Mouse, for example, who did the recent Ghost record. He was saying that this is how I do things. I go EQ into dynamics, and I like to push that.
Yeah.
So that I can get that really solid, punchy sound.
Yeah.
He reverses the signal path. He puts the EQ before the dynamic.
Cool. Yeah.
So these little tricks are well known by people who've used this console, but there's such a wonderful new thing for somebody who's never used these consoles to see and play with these things. And
it's so immediate too. It's just very like intuitive, the layout though, which I mean, I mentioned this in so many videos, but like I'm a big sucker for just like intuitively designed workflows like that. And I took a look at this for like 60 seconds and was like, okay, yeah. Awesome.
I know where you are.
Yeah, know where I'm at, which is so great.
Yeah.
And all the knobs feel really satisfying, and even the buttons too. They got a nice little click to them. So it's just a well-made product right there.
It's what we do.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
We know. Yeah.
You know what they say: the big dog doesn't need to bark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're like, you know what you're getting.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah. About the EQ stage, though, you had mentioned that, obviously as each iteration of the 4000 progressed over the years, you guys modified that circuit many times. So
oh gosh, yeah.
So
like
times.
I said, they're in like multiple. The 62 was, of course, the Brown was the original.
Yeah.
When we were putting one into Abbey Road, the George Martin asked us to make a modification to the EQ. And a couple of things included being able to go from plus or minus 15 to plus or minus 18 dB, and also be able to have the cue react dynamically so that it changes the character of the cue as you push it. So the more you gain up, the difference in the cue becomes more tighter and more focused.
Yeah.
So that eventually became the 611, which is known as the Black Series EQ. So what we did on this one, those are really the two most popular variations. I mean, there were two other ones. One was called the Violet and a Purple EQ, excuse me, and the other one was called the Orange EQ.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a series name for them right now, but I can't remember them all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah. So, but these two became very popular. So what we've done here is we have a little button that says BLK, Black. That engages 611 and back to 62. So if you want the brown knob, you turn it off. If you want the black knob, you turn it on.
Cool. And that's the extra 3 decibel headroom, different
becomes
cue.
different. It's a different circuit.
Yeah,
it's just
so
a different circuit characteristically, audibly, immediately. You immediately notice that there is a much more of a punch, much more of aggression that the 611 had.
Yeah.
The original was really a wonderful EQ, but it wasn't really trying to say, hey, here I am, I'm going to hit you over the head. It was never meant for that. It was meant to be a really sculpting equalizer. And but what happened with the 11 was it became so popular, and musically, for the era, for the time, for the music styles, people just love it, and they still love it till today. We still sell a lot of the 500 series 611 EQ is the Black Series EQ.
I was telling you, I was kind of shopping for one of those 4 or 5 years ago myself, because I know they're very like good, precise, just EQs there, and it's like just classic. So
and it's still included on all of our consoles. So the Duality, AWS, Oracle, Origin. 11 is on, 611 is there.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so besides that, you had the sidechain feature in that as well, right? So
Yeah. The sidechain allows us to, well, there's two ways you can do sidechain on this. So one is you can use dynamic sidechain with the filter. So the filter becomes the trigger point for the compressor. So if you don't want the compressor to trigger to low content, but you want it to trigger, let's say, to mid frequencies, you can use the filter not as a filter, but as a sidechain filter. So it takes it off of circuit from the audio path and puts it into the sidechain of the compressor.
Yeah.
So that's what this switch does. There is another way of doing that by going in through a sidechain input on the back of the unit.
Yeah, for an external source.
So there is an external input source that you can use. As a matter of fact, there was a sync way of doing it. You can sync multiples of these together.
Oh,
so
cool.
There's an external output that you put into the second unit, and when you engage the sync actually syncs the characteristics of both units.
So it'll be exact, so you won't have any
it'll be a
discrepancy.
perfect phase stereo
Yeah.
response to both units.
Love that, yeah.
And once you engage that, then what it's doing is it's listening to the signal coming in from the sidechain differently. It's no longer just using it as a frequency trigger or as a source trigger. It's using it as a control trigger.
Okay.
So that's what it ends up changing the sidechain for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Handy.
Yeah, it makes it possible for somebody who wants like a stereo set like this. They could use them on their mix bus. There's no problem. You won't have to worry about things flying back and forth between left and right.
This would do some damage on a mix bus for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, that's where you get into the insert point. Mm-hmm. There is an insert point on here, and the insert point, like all the other elements, is movable either from input source to output source. So if you want, for example, the insert point to be right after the pre, the EQ after that, and the dynamic after that, you can do that. Or you can have the pre-filter dynamic EQ and then insert. The combinations are all possible because it's just a matter of how you set them up.
Yeah.
So it moves, it's like repatching 5 or 6 different stereo 500 series modules.
Yeah.
Every time you want to do that, you have to repatch them. Here, you're just pressing a few buttons.
So handy.
And you're doing it. The other thing that you've got is the input-output meter. So there is a way of monitoring input source by hitting the input button. And what that will do is allow you to monitor what signal coming in, making sure you're not overdriving it, and then switch it back to output and make sure you're in unity, unity gaining back out of the unit. So even though you see a single meter there, it actually qualifies as a both input and an output meter. You just switch it from both.
Yeah, useful. That's useful.
Yeah, it's very important, especially if you're trying to maintain gauge stage from unit to unit to unit. Yeah.
And if you're messing around, like we said, with the preamp stage, you know,
preamp.
Yeah, I can get a little.
You can get dangerous with that.
Yeah, real dangerous, to put it lightly.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
This is such a great tool, though. It's so great to hear about everything, and the functionality is just there, you know.
Yeah, and it's decades of the best of this series. You know, along the way, we've found a lot of really great nuggets that customers, you know, most of the time it's the customers who use it, and we realize, wow, this is a perfect kit right here, because we stumbled onto something that works musically, and that's really what this thing encompasses. It's all of those bits over the years. It's not really trying to say, well, we're trying to give you this particular console from this particular date that was used on this particular song.
Yeah, like a B series only, you know, all the way through. Yeah.
We're not playing on the nostalgia. We're playing on the practicality of those various tools that came across the series along the way.
But that's appreciated, though, because, you know, what else we got with time but that, you know, as it's out there getting used, what are people using the most? What do they need out of it, you know?
It's important to remember the mistakes, but it's just as important to remember the success.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I just love the look of it too, though. It's just like, you know, it's a slick looking product as well. So, and it's a classic SSL, like colored knobs and everything. So,
it just follows the same color scheme. We've got the same quality knobs that we use on our large consoles. Like you said earlier, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the best way not to fix it is to just pull the same knobs, pull the same Neutrik connections, and just stick with what we know has always worked on our large scale consoles.
For sure.
And scale it down to a single channel like that.
Yes. And these are incredible, though. I'm so happy we got to talk about these. Is there any last words you wanted to chime in on this?
$1,999 US map. It'll be rolling out the Thursday, the 28th. I'm sure that's people will be seeing this.
Cool.
And we'll be shipping immediately, so
Awesome.
people can pick it up from zzZounds on day of release.
Awesome. Please do check this out at zzounds.com. We will be selling this on our website, so check it out there. And once again, Fadi, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much. Bye.